30 years since your first television appearance. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's crazy. I started when I was 15 years of age, yeah. And coming from the background I come from, you don't really stand a chance. I found acting in school. I went into a classroom finally and I thought, oh, fucking hell, I can do this. Do you know what I mean? I struggled with everything else. I couldn't quite understand. I didn't know where I sat in the class, but what I couldn't understand is that no one else in the classroom could do it. But I just felt that I could really express myself. And I just felt very comfortable with, around, the whole craft of it, I suppose.
Yeah, so that, I think once you find something that you're obviously really passionate about, if you'd have thought back then, in 30 years' time, you were still going to be making television, making film, making theatre, working with Harold Pinter, working with,
Yeah, I suppose what you do is you try and find what you're good at, and if you can, and everybody in this room's got a talent, and it's like, my worst nightmare, I suppose, is waking up and the alarm going off and going, fucking hell, I've got to go work, you know what I mean? Like, the idea that you do something that you love to do, and I suppose I found that very young, but really, ultimately, I'm plying my trade. I had a child very young, so it's like, okay, can I make a living out of this, really? And hopefully, along the way, you do some cool jobs, you make some cool fucking films or telly on the way. I've made a lot of shit, I'll be straight with you. It's
we're going to get to that.
It's all part of the it's all part of the process, I suppose, and I suppose I've done that. I suppose I've made some good stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, well, so we're going to see the first example of that now. We're going to talk about it a little bit afterwards, so I won't say very much, but it's your first ever television appearance in Prime Suspect, opposite Helen Mirren. So if we could have a look at that, please. Very, very young Danny.
Wow. Do you understand the question, Martin? We're getting tired. We've all been here a long time.
Martin, last night you talked to Sergeant Otley and Inspector Hall. And you said that the man who attacked you...
No, they were words put in my mouth. I never told nobody nothing. It's the God's truth.
Look, got it written down here. You said the man's name was Jackson and he asked you where Colin Jenkins was.
No, I never said that neither. What happened was, you know the escalators, top of King's Cross?
Yes.
Well, I was coming down them, and my coat got caught, and I fell forward and I hit my face. And then I got up and I fell over again and I hit my nose. Nobody hit me.
So you lied to the police officers?
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I like 'cause I'm underage.
Martin, did you know Colin Jenkins, Connie?
Yeah. Not well. He was a red-haired bloke, wasn't he? Quentin House, he was there with me. And now he's burnt to a crisp. That's the joke going around, Quentin Crisp, the famous puffer.
Have you ever had sex with a man?
Me? Ah.
How about a blowjob? Ever done that?
Yeah, a few times when I'm broke. I ain't into all that. I've got other means of employment.
Oh, yeah? Such as what?
Breaking and entering, nicking cars, radios. Do a bit of begging. Sell me life story to the newspapers.
Now, you listen to me, Martin. You think you can play games with us, lie to us, and it's all a joke, isn't it? Well, it's not. Colin Jenkins is dead. There's no one to claim his body, no one to even bury him. No one cares about Colin Jenkins but us. And you're next, Martin. You're the next little dead body we find down there, you know that? Want people to care about you?
Your first ever television role opposite Helen Mirren, that must have been quite something.
Well, if you think about it, that was my drama school, actually, just being thrown in the mix. I mean, I was so young. I used to go to this, there was a place called WAC, which was a thing that was on a Sunday, which was, if you come from a single-parent family, you could go to this sort of drama school, if you like. And again, it was a secret thing that I had to do because I didn't really tell me mates, because being gay, all that sort of stuff, you know what I mean? So it was my secret little thing. And I used to go to this place every Sunday, and I would love it, and I would learn stuff. And we did a workshop once, and an agent came down and picked me out and said, listen, I've got an audition for you tomorrow. I was like, fucking hell, was an audition. I didn't even know what an audition was then. I was like, it's when you got to get to this place in Wardour Street, number 57 or whatever. And I remember I didn't have any money to get there, and I had to bunk the fare. I remember jumping over the fares just to get to this door that I had to find in Wardour Street, and they gave me the script. And I remember I could always learn dialogue easy. That was strange to me, that, you know, just, I don't know why. And I learnt it. And I remember just sitting in the room with the other young boy actors that, they sort of had their parents who were my chaperone or whatever, and I was on me jack, and that was me basically running around. Wish I had that fucking head of hair now, to be fair. And I had greasy curtains, and I was running around, and I was robbing parcel false vans, and I was a nutty little fucker. But I just went in there, I just felt at home, and the woman was called Doreen Jones. She was the casting director, and and I literally went in there, I done my thing, and I literally left, and then I got offered it on the same day, I think, and that was it. I was on my way, and I my first scene was I was running down an alleyway, and I was being chased by David Fulis, who's a bit method, is David. And I remember my dad, who's here today, he was my chaperone, and we were staying in the same hotel, and because he was playing my pimp, he blanked me. So he's been a bit of a prick with me, I'll be honest. And I was a bit like, sort of trying to say hello to him and everything. So he blanked me, we done the scene, and he sort of chased me through these boxes and that, and then he grabs hold of me like that, and he put the lips on me, right, which was a moment of power. But it wasn't in the script. I remember my old man fucking getting the right ump over it. And I just thought, oh, right, so this is it, this is what it's about. It's like, that method thing I was introduced to very fucking early. But I was just sort of looking around thinking, I want to be a sponge. I want to learn about the technical side of it, and the fact they had a track down and they was following me with this track, and everything was just so exciting. I remember I got 1,500 quid for that job. So I was fucking caked back in the day. I went straight to the kebab shop. I bought everyone a kebab, treated them. But yeah, I was in front of Helen Mirren all of a sudden, and it was just like, do you know what I mean? It was just such a moment to go, wow, I'm with the elite, straight in, So it's emotional watching that. It was a long time ago, man. That's the start of my journey, I suppose.
Yeah, but I think also it's really interesting 'cause the character that you're playing there, we'd probably now call a sex worker, but that then was called a rent boy.
Yeah.
In order for you to actually go out there, do that work, you kind of have to lose the part of yourself that is going to be worried what your mates are going to say.
I thought he was going to ask me if I could go and nosh anyone off then. Fucking method.
Yeah, how did you prepare? That's later.
No. I never really thought about it. I think I've always been quite an instinctive actor, and you read it and you understand that scenes they're all mini films. They've all got beats to them. There's a beginning, there's a middle, and an end. Do you know what I mean? So that was my biggest scene in the whole thing. But I just remember watching her and watching how she was in between takes and just trying to absorb as much as I could. And she was so lovely to me. She was, she's. It's interesting. I worked with her later on a film called Green Fingers, a long time later with Clive Owen, and she remembered me. She came up to me and she went, "Here he is, my boy," and gave me a cuddle. And I thought, that's a true one.
Yeah, yeah.
So, if you're going to learn, fuck me, being in front of people like that, that's the way you learn. I'm not knocking drama school in any way, shape or form. I feel you've got to try and get into the business any way you can. But, you've got to, be in the job practically, professionally, under pressure, because they don't want to hear, about any anxiety when you're on there. They're all looking at their clock and you've got to get this shit shot. So, I just thought, okay, let's go with it. But yeah, she was amazing, man. She's another level.
Yeah, amazing. Well, and this was just the start, and obviously you did a little bit of TV after that. The sort of the bill,
yeah, everyone
the
done
touch
the bill.
of frost and that kind of thing. Yeah. But I suppose your breakout, if we would call it that, your sort of the feature that sort of broke you out. Your first feature was Justin Kerridge's Human Traffic.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty of Human Traffic fans in the house.
A lot of druggies in here, isn't there?
So I want to talk about human traffic. We're going to talk about it, but I think first of all, to remind those of us who haven't seen it for a while, and perhaps there might be some people here who haven't seen it, to get a flavour of Moth, your character. Let's have a look at a clip.
Hey, mate. Mate, you seen Taxi Driver?
Yeah.
Yeah? Hey, mate, can you relate to it, sort of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you understand? You could be Cardiff's answer to Travis Bickle on a timer waiting to explode. Can you fucking believe that? I mean, can you imagine doing that? Imagine doing a Travis. I mean, fucking hell. See me. I'd have a tattoo celebrity with me. Someone like, what's his name? What's his name? British pop throb, you know, built like a brick shit house he is. Ugly fuck. Peter Andre, yeah. I couldn't just shoot him first though, mate. You're having a laugh, ain't you? Nah. Oh no, that'd be like huffing a cream cake whole without it touching the sides, do you know what I mean? I believe it would be quite rude not to talk to him first, do you know what I mean though, mate, dear? Thumb screws instantly spring to mind. You know, followed by an intense session of electrodes on the testicles. Yeah, a fucking, a wire coat hanger down the Jap's eye, you know what I mean? Really fucking hurt the geezer, do you know what I mean? And finally, a bullet between the eyes, and it's time to say hello to the old man you've been working on Earth for all this time, Pete. See you later on, Pete. No one gives a fuck about you. Fucking hell, mate.
Right.
Yeah, fucking good film though, mate, innit, eh? Oh.
Cool. So yeah, just briefly talk to me a little bit about how that all came about.
Well, it was a brave film to make, I must say. I remember auditioning for that, and I had to be Welsh. And I read it, and I went, listen, mate, can I please not do it Welsh? For my sake, for your sake. I mean, can I just do it as me? Can I, seriously, because I just don't think he needs to be Welsh. And anyway, I said, all right, go on and have a go. Interestingly, on this audition as well, was the first audition that I walked in, and Justin said, do you take drugs? Now, there was a lot of big people up for this film, and of course, you're told never to talk about drugs, especially not in an audition, and there was a lot of people that did take drugs that said no, and he went, okay, lovely to meet you, can't be in this film. It was a whole new fucking ball game of, you know, him wanting to sell this world, this culture, and I suppose you had to be living it at the time. So anyway, I did it, and because I was meant to say nice one, brah, because there's a whole thing when I go, nice one, bruv. He goes, nice one, bruv, nice one, brother. And originally it was nice one, brah, and I said, can I say nice one, bruv? And he loved it. And I think, I suppose, and I've spoke very openly about this, I was living it. I was fucking living it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we was all off our fucking nut for this film, I'll be honest. And I'm not saying that's the way to go about things, it's very unprofessional, but, I mean, people skinning up on the fucking dining bus, and, you know, we made it for about 300 grand, this film, but it was such an honest depiction of life then and that sort of rave culture. And it took a long time to come out because no one would touch it. Everyone was like, well, we can't release this. No one dies. No one gets raped on drugs. There needs to be a moral ending. And actually, you know, it was just really an MTV video in a sense of it's a group of mates that get together. They're in shit jobs. They earn their readies. They fucking get off their nut of a weekend. They have a bit of a fucking come down. You roll the credits. And you go... You know, you can't do that. It's like, well, you know, we're not glamorising it in any way, shape or form. We're just saying this is a slice of life. This is, you know, and this is, you know, talking about this masculinity film. It's a slice of life. It's, whether you agree with it or not, a lot of it, you know, is what goes on in society. So, you know, this was so honest, this film. And it came on the back of Trainspotting, which was a lot darker, and it was about the heroin scene, which is... you know, not as well known, I suppose, as sort of, you know, just smoking weed and getting off your nut on pills. You know, that was, you know, like a big thing. And so I was really honoured to be part of it. And people like John Sim in it, who I'd always, you know, sort of looked up to. You know, he was in The Lakes, this massive series. And, you know, I was surrounded by really good young actors, and it was a real moment for me. I do remember this, though, that my fucking bar bill was bigger than my wages at the end of it. And I had to go home and break it to my wife, and that didn't go down well. I said, babe, listen, I swear to you, listen, when this film comes out, it's going to change our lives. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think,
Okay, I'm not encouraging this behaviour. I'm just, it was the late 90s.
but I think, I think it must have been like a different experience. Obviously, like the method element of it aside, like it must have been quite nice to have the experience of making a film with people who were a little bit more like you, really.
And there's a lot of improvisation in it as well, and I'd never really come across the idea of being allowed to improvise. You have to stick to the text, and he was letting us be very free with the dialogue and fuck around with it, and I loved that. You know what I mean? I wasn't able to do that for a long time later on in my career. I thought that was the way you made films. That was my first film. It was my first introduction to the big screen, and it was a very liberal film. It was a very honest depiction. It was interesting. Justin contacted me recently about doing Human Traffic 2, but I think it's far too maybe controversial to make a film about it. And I think he came at me just before COVID, and we was talking about it, and then of course COVID hit, and there was these big rave scenes in Ibiza with 4,000 or 5,000 people. It was like, it's never going to happen. It's just impossible. So I'm still open to it, of course, because it's a massive part of my career and my life. What's Moth up to now,
Yeah, but I think it's interesting because a word you keep using, and I feel like it's a word we're going to use a lot this evening, is about honesty. And I think that the success of a film like Human Traffic was the fact, exactly as you said, it's an honest depiction. Like, even the bad stuff that happens, you've got someone who gets really jealous every time his girlfriend goes out and they have a row and all that kind of stuff, and it's just kind of like quite ordinary, pedestrian, everyday, like little silly going, someone feels a bit paranoid, he really fancies that girl, and now maybe he might say. And I think that's been like the key to your success actually a lot, is the fact that you are just so matter of fact about these things, really.
Well, again, it goes from where I'm from, and I am just a working class kid, and fame never really suited me. It doesn't really. It doesn't really go with. You've got to conform to a certain way of behaviour and stuff, and especially now in the landscape at the moment, I'm a fucking ticking time bomb, me. I'm fucking one sentence away from fucking, so... but I think, but going back to the film, I think Justin really laid it all on the line. I think every character was a part of him. I was his most hedonistic side, and of course the character Coop had that real insecurity with his girlfriend and all that sort of stuff. He had a period where he couldn't get it up. And that's Jip's character, who's struggling with his, with his cock. I was trying to think of another word. I couldn't. But yeah, he really laid it on the line with that film, Justin. And I won't go into too many details. We got fucked over a little bit, and they re-released it, and they recut it, and they put different music on it. And I think that it really hit him hard, that Justin, because I think that Justin Kerrigan was an important filmmaker, and he just lost all hope and fucked off and didn't make another film for far too long. So I'm always open to having a conversation with him about the future,
Yeah. Well, you said you sort of touched on it a little bit, and I wanted to ask you about it. It's like that film obviously then did catapult you into something of a poster boy for a certain type of hedonism in that period of time in the early noughties. How did you sort of respond to fame initially?
Well, what was I famous for? I was famous for being a fucking canehead. So I would walk into a club and people were just like, fucking hell, off their nut, rushing off their head, wanting to take drugs with me. That was what I was known for. I was known for being Moth, which is a fucking dangerous thing if you think about it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I fucking leapt it up for a while, but I understood what fame is. It's... You play a character, especially in the early days of fame, and people really love that character, and they want you to be that character. And to be fair, and I'll say this, I believe that acting really, for me, I can only speak from personal experience, is you do play yourself. You play the most interesting parts of yourself. I don't believe that it's about necessarily... And I suppose we've all got different. There might be young actors in here. You want to try different roles, but really, what's happened with me? I feel that I became good at something, which was playing me or a version of me, and people, and it earns money, and so that people want to see it again. Just put you in a different set of clobber and a different fucking hairstyle, but in general, you're digging deep within your soul to bring out. And what is it we're playing with? We're playing with words. We're playing with. You're making words interesting. It's the musicality of words. So, you've got to be on screen, you're talking, be fucking interesting. Let people fucking hang on you every word. You know what I mean? That's what it's about. It's the beats of what you're saying that makes it interesting. So you're playing with words. And writers are the fucking chefs, and as actors, we're just the fucking waiters. Like, we're serving up there. If you've got fucking... And I know this, I was in Eastenders for fucking 9 years, right? So sometimes on that fucking plate, it's a pile of shit, and you got to try and... you got to sell it to the fucking table. You know, you're like, fucking hell, mate. And then sometimes, like within that, you get gifted fucking beautiful stuff on the plate, and you can't go wrong with it. So, and I know there'll be a lot of people out there that would disagree with that, but I feel that that's what, if you really look into actors and what they do, they do the same fucking thing. I mean, some people like Daniel Day-Lewis, obviously, who's the governor, I suppose, who did play Abraham Lincoln and just put a top hat on, but it takes 2 years to prepare for a role. Who's got fucking 2 years to spare to fucking? But again, so for me, it is, and you do need a bit of trauma in your life. You know, you need to dig deep sometimes to fucking find some trauma that you've been through to bring it out and just make it believable and find a truth in it, I suppose. And human traffic, fucking hell. You know, there was a lot of truth in that for me, I must say.
But I just think while we're talking about like the kind of methodology of acting for you, I wanted to talk about probably one of the key sort of professional relationships of your life that kind of was pretty significant, I think, and that was with Harold Pinter, the playwright who, you know, sort of off the back of human traffic. I mean, I'd sort of love to hear it from your words, but that relationship ended up being quite significant to you in terms of you feeling, I suppose, that you've got a place. And yeah, I kind of wanted to talk a bit about how you guys came to meet. And
well, I didn't go drama school, so I didn't have a fucking clue who he was. So when I got a call from my agent to say, oh my God, Harold Pinter's doing a play, and he's just wrote a new play and he's directing for the first time in 20 years, I was like, who the fuck is he? It's like, honestly, this is so big, this is just massive. It's like, you've got to get to the Almeida Theatre. And I went, all right, fucking calm down. Let's just fucking, let me read it. And I read it and I thought, oh, fucking hell, this is mad. Like the dialogue and the interaction between people. I'd never really read anything like that. Like, it was so conversational, and that battle, you know, in every conversation we have, whoever it is, it's like a slight little battle going on. Do you know what I mean? You're not in a nasty way, but you're trying to top each other, and you're trying to, you know, it's really interesting, that to and fro, and he really got that down to a T. So I remember going for the audition, I read it, I had a lovely monologue, I played like a waiter, it was called Celebration, it was an amazing play, and I remember Jude Law was there, Martin Freeman was there was like fucking some big people, and they're fucking shitting themselves, they're just in pieces, they're fucking rocking back and forth, they're like, and again, I'm just sitting there going, who the fuck is this geezer? Like, and I fucking... So I had no fear around it, and I suppose that helped me. So I walked in the room, he was sitting there, and he had all his little entourage around him. And I just went, all right, son, how you doing? I shook his hand. And I remember, like, everyone going, fucking hell. And the dialogue was so, again, brilliant dialogue. I couldn't go wrong with it. I smashed it, I went, see you later. I got on the train, and I got offered it by the time I got on at Angel, and I got off at Stratford, and I had a voicemail saying I got the part. And he fucked everyone else off. Sorry, Jude. And it was only afterwards when I realised, you know, like when I started to work with him, don't know the power of this man, and actually how he really did put his arm around me, do you know what I mean? And he sort of took me under his wing, and it was like, he gave me instant fucking credibility. And there's a lot of critics out there and people that fucking hate the fact that me and him were like that, do you know what I mean? They can't fucking understand, it doesn't compute in their brains. And I just loved being around him. You know, his rehearsal process was fucking amazing. He never started before 12 o'clock, right? Midday, didn't start before then. He would have a table set up at the front with a bottle of fucking red wine and a glass. And the rehearsal period would last as long as that fucking wine. Which, you know, some days he would just fucking glug it, and other days he would take his time. But he would never give you notes as an actor either. He would cast you for a reason. You would try and ask him a question about the text, and he'd say, ask the fucking author. And you go, I thought you was the fucking author. So he would just block it, and he would let you do your thing. And, you know, it was a beautiful thing being around him. You know, it was amazing. I learnt a lot from that. And most of the theatre I've done has been Pinter, you know, so... and I was lucky enough that he did direct me in Celebration. He started to direct me in No Man's Land, and that's when he got ill. And And I never understood a fucking word of No Man's Land, by the way. I did that play for 6 months, and I thought, what the fuck is this about? I have no... Corin Redgrave was in it, and this old guy called John Wood, who fucking hated me, by the way. I don't know. I think it was because I didn't know the etiquette of theatre, and I came in once with the reviews. And that's one thing, you don't bring the reviews in. I'm going, hey, well, you fucking read this, John, look. Oh, God. So again, I wasn't... Again, come from where I come from, I wasn't up with the, and especially theatre, there's an etiquette, there's a way you should conduct yourself, and it's quite a middle upper class thing, really, in a sense of after the play, the people that will come and watch it, and I struggled with all that. I couldn't really deal with the conversation side of it afterwards, but Harold was great with all that, and all he was just somebody that just always said, just be you. Do you know what I mean? And it's interesting. I've done a documentary on him recently, and because he was very important to me, and he sort of felt that he discovered me, and I couldn't fucking believe that. I've been acting for fucking 7 years by then, but he would show off about me, which really touched me.
Yeah, but I think I'd like to talk a little bit about theatre, really, because again, you said mainly Pinter, but you have done some other stuff as well. But I think you've said that you kind of film and TV is more your natural home. But what is it about the process of the theatre that kind of has helped develop you as an actor, do you think?
It makes you feel alive, I'll tell you that now, when you're on that fucking stage. I was never good at the sitting around the table and talking about the subtext and the, people would have little fucking notepads and all that bollocks, and I just, again, instinctive, I would read it and go, I know what I'm going to do, but you'd have to sit there for fucking 2 weeks around the table. And people talking about it and really fucking talking about words and shit, and I'm going, what? Anyway, these people sort of, would look down their nose at me slightly because I didn't know the fucking dialogue, or I couldn't articulate it well enough. I just couldn't wait to get up on my feet. And it was interesting that some of the actors that were really good at fucking writing about this shit were shit when they fucking stood up. I was like, fucking hell, you understand what you're saying, but you can't fucking say it. But it does really... I mean, you really do feel like a fucking actor when you're up there, and you shit your fucking pants every night. I don't care who you are. You have this moment every night in your dressing room. I mean, after I dried, I did do Celebration for like 8 weeks at the Almeida, and then we took it to New York, and I got very excitable in New York, and I'd never been, and I was on Broadway, and I did overindulge with substance, and I thought I could walk on stage and do the play after not being in bed. And I fucking learnt the hard way because I didn't have a clue what to say all of a sudden, and I felt very aware of myself. I thought I was fucking bulletproof. And then when you're on a fucking stage and there's like 1,000 people waiting for you to speak and you ain't got a fucking clue what to say, and it's your own fault, and the other actors know you've been out all fucking night. Yeah. And that was the worst thing for me because I'm a waiter, I have to interject. So, Leah Williams, Lindsay Duncan, Keith Allen, they're all sitting around the table, and then I interject and I say, excuse me. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, I don't know what to say. And their faces, well, they were looking at me as if to go, you fucking arsehole, how dare you? That made me worse, and I thought I'd be able to improvise my way around it. Actually, just my bottom lip started to go. I was going to sob my fucking heart out on the stage. It was like... And then Andy Delatour shouted the line out, and I snapped out of it, but I was all of a sudden very aware of what I was doing, and that stayed with me throughout. So... The play I did recently, Dumbwaiter, I shat myself every night. I sat in that dressing room. I could hear them coming in, and you can hear them laughing, and you can hear the fucking ice in their drinks, fucking. And you're going, why the fuck am I doing this? What the fuck? It was like 500 quid a week. It's costing me more to park in a fucking NPC over the road. But it was the Dumbwaiter, two-hander on the stage. And they pulled me out of the soap to do it. So, I don't think that's ever been done before, to close the Pinter season. And I fucking loved every second of it, honestly. It was difficult going back to Albert Square after that, I tell you, because... And I'm not knocking Albert Square, but I'm talking about, just that idea of being on stage and just to, you really fucking feel alive. It's just a shame it doesn't fucking pay any money. That's the other thing. I never understood that. That's really tough fucking shit to do. And you get fuck all money for it. You go and do a fucking advert and get fucking all sorts of dough, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I've never understood that side of it, but yeah, I do want to do some more theatre, definitely.
Yeah, amazing. Well, sort of talked about Pinter, but I want to talk about another really significant kind of professional relationship in your career, which is director Nick Love. I was hoping for a whoop there. I'm glad we got one. So Nick sort of first cast you in a film called Goodbye Charlie Bright, where you sort of have a smaller role, playing, I suppose looking back on it now, playing slightly against type. You're quite a sensitive character.
I'm quite a sensitive soul, really, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's hard man bollocks. It's all bollocks, really.
We're getting to that too, don't worry. Okay. But and before we talk about Football Factory, which we're going to talk about, like how did that relationship sort of come about? Because it is someone who's been very consistent sort of throughout your career.
Well, interestingly, it came through an actor called Paul Nichols, who was a friend of mine, who was in Eastenders, beautiful kid, you know what I mean? He's had some fucking issues, but he said to me, there's this guy, you got to meet him, you're going to love him. And so it came through him, and because we'd done The Trench, I think, me and Paul, and then I mean, we did Charlie Bright after. And so I met him, and we went out, he took me out for lunch, and I thought, fucking hell, this guy's up his nut, I love him. Gold tooth in the front of him, fucking swearing, effing and blinding, but really fucking clever and articulate with it, you know what I mean? And I did that little bit in Charlie Bright, and he said to me, listen, because I wanted to as much as I loved Paul, I wanted to fucking lead role in that Charlie Bright. I was like, listen, I've got to be doing. He said, listen, you're not a big enough boat, and this is Paul's part, but I promise you I'm going to write something for you. And I was like, yeah, of course he fucking is. Do you know what I mean? So that was the start of our relationship. And also I remembered him as a director that, and you've got to excuse my language here, because this is the way he is that, you know, his note would be, like, you do a take, you go, what's that, you cunt? And you go, let's go again. And you go, fucking hell. So he would sort of get something, it was so like fucking, like it wasn't a director, you know what I mean? Although he was. He's like, fucking live, stop acting. That was the other thing he'd say, stop fucking acting. You go, what the fuck is that, mate? And I quite liked it. I liked the energy of it. So it was so different, you know what I mean? And somebody that I really wanted to work with again on a bigger project, you know what I mean? Because I was just flitting in and out of that job. And everyone in that's fucking great as well. Little Roland Manookian. It's a really clever bit of work, that, actually. And I think it came out at a time, the classic, I suppose, there was a heat wave, so no one went to the fucking cinema and they just took it off, which was a real shame, because I thought they had a lot to say, that film, especially about masculinity and living on a council estate and all that sort of stuff, and the relationships. And also what Nick does is he's very fascinated by male relationships, straight men loving each other. Do you know what I mean? He touches on that. And there's a real beautiful relationship in that between Paul Nichols and Roland Manookian's characters. You know what I mean? They really do love each other. Two young straight boys on a council estate, and they look out for each other. And he later goes on with the Football Factory and the business and other stuff to explore that a bit more, you know?
Yeah, and I think even just from what you're saying, and I suppose what is sort of known about Harold Pinter, it seems that you kind of connect quite well with men who really kind of are quite, I suppose the word's difficult, I suppose, you know, like a lot of when you've spoken about Pinter in the past, you're like, yeah, fuck, he was pretty tough, and Nick as well, just quite,
yeah, and straight talking, and I'm not dealing with sort of, you know, people that are not my class and talking to me in a way that I couldn't understand. I needed someone to call me a cunt. I'm sorry, I needed that. I needed to be told straight, and Harold did that, and Nick certainly did that as well, and I loved that. I appreciated that, and I respected that, and I needed that in my life. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, maybe it is a bit of a theme, I suppose. I don't know, but you know, Nick, there is no one like Nick Love. I tell you that now. He's an amazing human being.
Well, yeah. Well, we're going to talk about him a little bit more, because after Goodbye Charlie Bright, which if anyone hasn't seen is an absolutely incredible, really beautiful film as well. It's a really pretty film. If anyone hasn't seen it, you should definitely check it out. But we're going to talk about the Football Factory. And before I say any more, I think, first of all, if anyone hasn't got tickets to the screening of this afterwards, which Danny is introducing, like, please grab them if you want to. But we're going to have a little bit of a reminder now of the Football Factory.
Getting beaten up by football hooligans is like having VD. The fucking pain goes on forever. But that's what makes it so exciting. So this is me, Tommy Johnson, 3 weeks from now, nearly dead. And you know what the funniest thing is? I could see it coming. Anyway, it's almost over now. And all that matters is this. Was it worth it? There's nothing different about me. I'm just another bored male approaching 30 in a dead-end job who lives for the weekend. Casual sex, watered down lager, heavily cut drugs, and occasionally kicking fuck out of someone.
You've touched on it a little bit, but you know, working with other working class actors, which you would have done with Nick on all of the films that you made together, did that sort of change kind of your, I mean, it must have been quite a different experience to what you've been used to most of the time up to that point. How does that kind of manifest differently from you when you're on set?
It's interesting, when we made this film fucking nearly 20 years ago, we were assassinated for it, and now we've been fucking celebrated. It's a fucking beautiful thing. I love that. I don't know, like, again, it's honest. It's I mean, the interesting thing about this film is there's not many actors in it. It's like every fucking face you see in that, we're on tag. So he had real hooligans in it. So we had to stop filming at a certain time because it had to be indoors by fucking 7 o'clock. And the weird thing for me is that I was an actor and I was the lead actor, but of course by then I was quite famous and I was sort of known for whatever it was. So all these hooligans sort of looked up to me, and so I would literally turn up again in the morning, and one of the hooligans that was in the background was to hand me a can of fucking Red Stripe, and so. And I couldn't go, oh, no, darling, sorry, I've lots of lines to learn, darling. So I sort of had to, see, I can do accents, see? But I had to juggle that, and I go, yeah, mate, cheers, and I'd fucking ping it round the back of the trailer or whatever. And so I had to pretend that I was one of them, but at the same time I had a lot of fucking dialogue in it, and I had a lot of scenes, and it was a different way of working. I mean, that final scene at the end was chaos, because he basically blew a whistle and there was some real beef going on with some people. So real arms were broke, people lost teeth. I mean, we started this whole football hooligan thing. I mean, I'm really proud of the fact that, I mean, after that, there's been a lot of fucking remakes of, I don't think anyone's really captured what the fucking Football Factory was about, because, I mean, I think at the same time they was making Green Street, and what a fucking disaster that is. I don't know if anyone's... I mean,
I actually heard a groan in the audience before you even said that. Yeah.
Well, I think they put Elijah Wood in it, who's a fucking good hobbit, but don't fucking don't put him in a fucking hooligan film. And Charlie Hanan, who's a great actor, who's done amazing things. I don't know what the fuck this accent was. I don't know. But that was our rival, and we was a bit nervous about it. It had a big budget, you know what I mean? So we was like, fucking hell, how's it going to be? And again, we made this for no money, this film. It wasn't about money. I mean, and Nick's very good at making it look very sexy, but it was about authenticity and getting real people in it, and also being the anti-hero, I suppose. He's doing that thing where, I do love a tear up, and but he's questioning it. You need that, I feel. I mean, the famous line is, was it worth it? Of course it fucking was. But you're questioning it, throughout. He's having these... And also he added this other element where I'm fucking psychic. I'm fucking having dreams about me, someone dying. And it turns out to be Zebedee. It's like a weird element that he's put in as well, which is really clever and cinematic. These dreams I keep having through the fucking tunnel, and which comes true. So it was a really brave bit of filmmaking again. And it fucking smashed it. So that was, a real turning point for me as well. And interestingly, so me and Nick had worked together. He spoke about a project. I'd been a bit of a fucking lunatic, so he basically wrote this thing for me. And then I remember I met him, and he slammed it down. He said, "You fucking arsehole." I went, "What?" He went, "I can't offer you that now." He went, "You're a fucking liability. So you're going to audition like everyone else." I was like, "Fuck." And I was like, "Okay." And he fucked off, just left me. And I picked up the script and got on the train and I read it and I thought, oh, fucking hell. Like, my life was just a mess at this point. I was living back at my nan's on the settee. I'd been a fucking lunatic, and I read this and thought, oh, I've got to fucking get this part. I've got to get this part. I had 3 rounds of auditions, and interestingly, it got down to me and Tom Hardy. And yeah, I know, interestingly. I mean, he ain't done fuck all since, really, so... I think I won that little battle, you know. And again, I had to really work and graft for it, and I did. I really took it seriously. I really understood what a brilliant piece of work this could potentially be, you know. So, yeah, I was really happy to be, you know, fucking... And also it's the lead role thing as well, isn't it? You know, you've got to prove you can be a leading actor, which is what I think all actors strive to be, and you just need a fucking opportunity to do it. You know, can you carry a film? Can you be... It's easy to get people to fucking hate you on screen. It's like, can you get people to like you and warm to you and want to follow your journey? That's the key about being a leading man, you know. Not every actor gets the opportunity to do that, you know. Some brilliant actors out there that are known as character actors or whatever, but I think we all want to be that fucking leading man for sure.
Yeah, totally. And I think what happened after Football Factory for you is that you sort of, as you say, for a start, it kind of spurned a lot of these kind of imitations that never quite lived up, mainly because they were made for about £2.50. And now all those sort of straight to Netflix type things, straight to DVD, we would have said back then. But it did, you know, given that you'd had to play quite a variety of roles up to that point, you know, you've been working with Pinter and that sort of thing, it was like, because it was your leading role, it was all of a sudden like Danny Dyer, football hooligan.
Yeah.
And, you know, you ended up doing, you know, these Danny Dyer's Deadliest Men. Excellent show, if anyone's
Oh my God, fucking hell.
So good.
Well,
the SES, when you were like really hungover and you were like thrown out.
I think I single-handedly took down Bravo TV. it no longer exists, so... But that's the other thing, that's a kick out the bollocks. So for that, again, I was on 500 quid a week for Football Factory, but it wasn't about money then. It was about, okay, can I be a leading man? But, you know, fucking 500 shots a week. It's like, fuck me. You know, equity minimum, whatever. And then fucking this documentary crew come to me and offer me shitloads of money to run around talking to real fucking hooligans. And I'm not going to lie, it got me on the fucking housing ladder. Like I couldn't get a gaff. But I had to run around talking to fucking lunatics, meeting them under bridges and all that. Fucking... All of a sudden I'm a fucking journalist. I'm like fucking... But it fucking... I've got kids on it. Do you know what I mean? It got me... That's the truth. But fuck me, the damage it done to my career. Do you know what I mean? And I'm a meme now, fucking, you know, me in the back of a car, fuck me, I'm shitting myself, or I'm on the way to meet the Rangers firm. You know, it's like fucking... I mean, Kevin Bridges got a whole routine about me, about fucking how I shit myself at the Celtic Rangers game. You know, I created a thing, I suppose. And also, this is the other thing, is if you do a documentary, then you give far too much away about yourself. Therefore, you give away all your fucking tricks and all that bollocks, so that when people watch you on screen, they go, oh, he's not even an actor. And that's why the greatest actors, you don't do fucking interviews, do they? They don't give fuck all away, do they? Because why would they? You know what I mean? Keep all your little fucking secrets, and they take themselves far too seriously. And but I understand why they do it, because if you give away too much personality, then you get shot down for it. And I suppose I was playing a role in the documentaries in a sense of there is a story to it, and you're interviewing people, but it took me down this route. I suppose I was the poster boy for fucking hooligans for a little while. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think exactly what you're saying. It's like all of a sudden people can't separate Danny Dyer, who's like married with a couple of kids, probably just, you know, ordinary guy goes to work, with like this guy that wants to like beat people up, even though
it depends on the geezer,
not really.
But
I've read both your books. Yeah. You're very sensitive.
No, it's a class thing, isn't it, as well? I think that I suppose that I do speak a certain way. I do walk like a fucking duck. I know that. And I suppose then all of a sudden you are, you know, you like violence and you know you must be a gangster, or it's all bollocks really. But you do get pigeonholed. That's part of the media thing, isn't it? I suppose. And I think that film it reached a lot of people, and I suppose if there's any actors in here, you know it's fucking hard, but you only have a fucking one job away. I'm telling you, you can fucking be out of work for a long time, and you audition and you can't fucking get the part, but that part will fucking come if you believe in yourself. I'm telling you, it will happen, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're fucking in. Do you know what I mean? So you're only ever one job away from it becoming a huge thing, and you're becoming famous and becoming a leading man or a star or whatever the fuck it is that they want to call you, you know? It's always there. It's always around the corner. You never fucking give up.
But that must kind of bleed into your kind of when people approach you on the street and that sort of thing. People must have certain expectations of who you are and how you're going to behave, and that must be quite strange.
That's what sort of fame is, isn't it? What is it? It's like someone walks in the room and you know them. It's like, it's not a tangible thing. You never fucking feel famous. I don't feel famous. It's not a thing. But I do understand that sometimes I meet people and it's a moment for them, and I try and give them a fucking moment. Absolutely. I'm very grateful for it, I suppose. I'm grateful that people have watched my work and they like, because there's a lot of fucking haters out there for me as well. I understand that I divide a lot of people. It's like I'm either a really good actor and I'm a fucking legend, or I'm fucking an absolute joke. I understand that. I mean, if I only fucking read Twitter, I'd never leave my fucking house, I'll be honest with you. You just wouldn't do it. It's like that all the people on Twitter, I don't ever bump into them in the street. They're just not about. But yeah, it's hard. It's weird fame. It does fuck your nut up. I'm not going to lie. It's, I did lose the plot for many fucking years. You've got to remember who you are, really, and what's your soul, really. Because, like I said, I suppose with the human traffic thing, I was, a bit of a drug addict, and then I went on to be a football hooligan, and, you sort of associate with people, and you do attract that world as well. You sort of wrap around a lot of naughty fucking people. I mean, I could make some fucking phone calls, I'll tell you that now, if it comes on top for me. Not that I ever would. But yeah, you're never quite settled with it.
Yeah. Well, obviously there are no Twitter haters in this room. This is a love room this evening.
Well, there's fucking one now. He's fucking off. See you later, mate. No, there you go.
But obviously I'll check Twitter later. But obviously during that period, you're pretty prolific. You're making a lot of films. You did like Severance, which we're going to talk about in a minute. You loved it. Film I really want to shout out called All in the Game, which you did with Ray Winston, which is a TV movie where you play. You're sort of still in the football world, but you play kind of like the son of a football manager, and you're working together. And I just wanted to point it out because I think it's really, really brilliant. And if you haven't seen it, seek it out because I think it's really great. Yeah. Again, you play like a softer character.
Well, I got to work with my idol as well, and Ray being somebody that I remember watching him. I think it was on Minder, and he spoke like me. And I thought, fucking hell, like that's mad. I'd never, because this working class thing is that it's an odd. Working class actors that they're usually put in, they're only in films for certain reasons, aren't they? And I just think that because he's from Plaistow, from around the corner from me, and he had the same twang to his voice. And I really want, and I'd done Football Factory by then, and the director said I can't be in it because I was playing his agent's son. And it was interesting because I was doing a film called Straightheads at the time with Gillian Anderson, and I was telling her about this thing. I really wanted to work with Ray, and I love him, and then she fucking rang the director of this fucking show and asked him to put me in it. Like, she'd done me a massive favour, and then they called me and said, "Okay, you can play his son, but you've got to dye your hair ginger." And I was like, "Oh, fucking do whatever you want, mate." And then I dyed my hair ginger, and I turned up for the read-through, and Ray was sitting there, and he said, "What the fuck have you done to your hair?" I said, "Well, I better dye it ginger because apparently you got to be a cunt, you, ain't you?" And I was like, it broke the ice anyway. But again, he was someone I was really, because I don't get starstruck, and I've worked with, Idris Elba was in that as well, and it was before he was known. I remember working with Idris and going, fucking hell, this geezer's unreal. Who the fuck is this geezer? But I remember with Ray, I needed him to be, I just thought, I don't know if I can do it now because I'm so fucking like. And then on our first scene, we were sitting in a motor together, and he kept getting his lines wrong. And I was like, thank the fucking Lord. He's a fucking human being. And we had a lovely little bond up, me and him. It was amazing being around him, just his whole process and everything. So yeah, it was a good job for me, that one. Yeah,
I mean, and again, it's a fantastic film, but during that period, you're making a lot of work, and you've always been really honest about the fact, alongside these sort of documentaries that are paying you really good money and stuff, that maybe given another chance you wouldn't have made some of those decisions. And I think it's actually really refreshing that you can actually like own up to that without picking out individual films and not slagging anyone off. Mm-hmm. But do you think that, as somebody who has like, family support, all these sorts of things, do you feel that like your class kind of comes into that in the sense of like, people have been quite snobby about some of your decisions without really applying it to the real life fact that you're like somebody who doesn't come from loads of money. And
No, absolutely, for sure. I've had a lot of classism. I mean, there's a lot of isms in the fucking world, as we're very aware of. Do you know what I mean? I think we've all, but yeah, I was very aware of that classism thing. I think, racism, you're judged by the colour of your skin. I sort of get past that round, and then my mouth, and then I'm fucking judged. Do you know what I mean? So I get it, and as a woman, you know what I mean, with sexism, and there's a lot of that goes on. I just think that when you start out in your career, it's not about money and all that. It's about you just want to do cool cult stuff, and then you have fucking kids, and you've got to fucking feed the fuckers.
yeah,
You've got a fucking mortgage to pay, so there is that as well, and you have to. You've got no right to turn down stuff as well, because you've got to keep fucking earning, you've got to keep grafting. But I made so many fucking shit films back to back. I had a bad run. And I knew they had to fucking come out eventually. So, but I wouldn't change anything. I think my journey's has been the journey it has for a reason. Do you know what I mean? I think you do go into projects and think, oh no, maybe I can make this good, but fuck me, some of the shit I've done is like, oh God.
The thing is, though, you're never the reason they're bad.
Oh, I
So
don't
at
know
least
about
you-
fucking I mean, I fucking
My
love you for that, but...
But we're going to talk about one that is definitely very good, and I know that you're really proud of it, Severance.
Yes.
This is where you get to really show your kind of comic chops, I suppose. And there's some horror in there too. And we're going to watch a little clip of it.
Steve, you all right, mate?
Steve? I saw someone. Who? I don't know.
What happened?
The weirdest things just happened, yeah? I needed to have a slash, so I've pulled my trousers down, because, I felt a little bit damp and I didn't want to get a rash. I was about to have a piss, and I saw a geezer with a balaclava and a suitcase. No, more of a travel bag. So, you've come over.
Steve,
Yes.
the mushrooms.
What mushrooms?
You ate them. You're high. Look after him. Okay?
Listen. Yeah, I know we're mates, but, if you look at my cock one more time, I'm gonna kick off.
What are you talking about? I have not once looked at your winky.
You turn around.
Of all the fucking scenes.
I did warn him before. I was like, your bum's going to be like really big on this.
Yeah.
But no, you've when we were sort of chatting before, you picked that one out as one you're quite proud of. And again, it really sort of almost returns to your sort of earlier work where you're this very comic kind of actor.
It's a new direction for me, because I had to audition for this as well. I'd sort of proved that I could be a leading man, but then could I be funny, I suppose? And I think that this is an odd genre, isn't it? Because it's horror comedy. Like, this is fucking clever, this film, because it's funny, but it's also, when it's fucking scary, it's scary. It's like it sort of goes into both worlds, and it's really, and sometimes with these films you don't know when to laugh, or you don't know when to be scared. It's all a bit, whereas this was very clear to me. And I fucking loved it. I had to film it in the Isle of Man. That was a kick out the bollocks, but I really enjoyed this one. This was such a fucking great job for me. I loved that comedy thing. You can really push it to the extreme. I'd never been an opportunity to do that before, so and again, I had to earn it. They didn't offer me this. I had to audition like everybody else, and I got through the first round and the second round, so it always feels better, I suppose, when you earn it.
Yeah, for sure. But again, I think it's, obviously in a 1 hour conversation, we haven't done so much work. And what I'm sort of feeling as we're going along is that there was just moments where there was maybe a slight change. And, you're obviously doing like TV appearances alongside that. You're doing your sort of 8 out of 10 cats and that kind of thing. And I think people start to sort of, you are quite funny, I think.
Well,
I think people are laughing along.
But I think this panel show thing, it's interesting all that, isn't it? Because you go. I suppose for me, when you go on these shows, you're not a comedian, so you ain't got no pressure, so you can do what the fuck you want. And again, I've only ever been honest, and I can only be me because everyone else is fucking taken. So, I like having a fucking laugh and a joke. I never take myself too seriously. I'm in on the joke. I understand what I represent to people like Jimmy Carr and all that, so they try and have it with me. I went on Never Mind the Buzzcocks, and I think Simon Amstel tried it on with me, and I said, sorry, babe. And then it fucked him for the rest of the show. Because I babed him off, and it's like... and he was clever and witty and all that, and I think he knew. But I sort of enjoy all that stuff. Again, it's like, how much do you give away? Interesting, I've just done a thing in Australia, and I was getting recognised all the time. I was like, oh, fucking hell, what film is it? It was fucking 8 out of 10 cats. They love our comedy over there, and they've got a whole channel that's dedicated to it. So that was interesting to me, It's that, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think I can understand why a lot of actors do swerve that stuff. It's very exposing, isn't it? But you're sort of honoured to be asked, and also they pay you fucking nice weddies. Again, it's... do you know what I mean? It's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're running out of time already, but I can't throw it out to the audience before we talk about another really significant role in your life. So 22 films after Severance, not including short films and TV appearances and documentaries, you joined the cast of Eastenders. Yep. Got some Eastenders fans in the house, presumably. And you played Mick Carter, landlord, which is an iconic role. And you'd resisted EastEnders a little bit, I think, previously.
Well, there was a quote that came back to bite me on the arse. I said I'll do it when I'm fat, bald and 50. And I did it when I was 36. So that came back to haunt me, but I had a bit of snobbery around it, like most actors do, which is bollocks, by the way, because it's fucking hard work. But I was on my arse, and I've said this before. I was fucked. I'd made too many bad films. I thought, I'd had my shot. I'd made some good stuff, and I was now resorted to going to fucking nightclubs and waving off of balconies and fucking chips away at your soul. That I tell you. But I had the fucking kidaments to like that. They stopped all the music. Fucking hell! Like, where'd you go from there? And, listen, I was going to lose me gaff, everything. I couldn't put my kids through school anymore. I'd fucked it. And then I get a call from Dominic Treadwell-Collins, who asked me to come and have a meet with him at the Langham Hotel. And I just had just enough petrol money to get there. I swear to God, I was on my arse. And he fucking sat me in this throne and he told me about this part, about this fucking alpha male that wears a pink dressing gown. And his first storyline is going to be that his son's going to come out to him as gay. And you're just going to put your fucking arm around him and tell you love him. And I went, wow, like, you fucking get me. Like, because I thought, fuck me, I'm coming in, going to chase Phil about, with a fucking shotgun. Right? You get 6 months, maybe a year, you can't take Phil on, right? But it wasn't that. And you're going to take over the Queen Vic, and you're going to come in with a family. I mean, I'm sitting there, fucking can't believe my luck. I'm not fucking hell. I had to play it cool. They didn't know I was skin. Do you know what I mean? But I also just felt, and I always asked Dom afterwards why he came up with this role for me. And he'd read an interview that I'd said, and he really just loved what I was about and what I was talking about. I can't remember what the interview was. So that was it. It changed my fucking life. It changed my fucking career as well, because I remember there was a lot of fucking Twitter again. It was like, rest in peace, Eastenders, if you turn into Danny Dyer to save your fucking show. Do you know what I mean? And I thought, oh, okay. This is now a different platform for me, because I did have a demographic. Anyone with a fucking scar down their face or a fucking Burberry cap on, you know what I mean? Or druggies from human traffic, like hippies, that was my audience. And then all of a sudden I'm going to be like older women, blue rinse mob, right? Children are going to watch me on the telly. So this opens you up to a fucking huge platform. I just needed the right role, and I think that if you can, and he gifted me with his fucking great character. They fucked it up towards the end, I won't go into it, but an alpha male who can fucking throw a right-hander but is sensitive and cries, and open to his son who's gay and going, don't worry about it, so what? So I had a touch of the Alfie Moons about me, but also a touch of the Phil Mitchells as well. And of course I'm from East London, so I brought a real bit of, I think the show needed that. It needed an injection of like, and I said, listen, can I rewrite some of it? And they let me absolutely, I fucking absolutely bamboozled them with Cockney slang. I was just doing it to wind them up as well. Just, you know, like one of my first lines, has anyone seen me haddock? And haddock and bloater is a motor. I've never really used the word haddock, but I thought I'll have that. And I really pushed it to, I think people appreciated it. And so all the haters all of a sudden went, oh no, he's all right actually, he's not bad. And I wanted to do something different with it. I wanted to be an iconic character in Eastenders. I didn't want to be shouty. I wanted the nuance. I wanted to play it down a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, they gave me a bit of freedom with it. And I think that the first fucking few years that we was in it, we fucking smashed it, man. We fucking shifted, we shifted it up a little bit, I think so, like when the Carters first come in. There's fucking none of them left now. It's such a sad thing, but Kelly's left, she's still there. But I think that first 3 years, you know, when we fucking came in and there's fucking loads of us, we had Annette Badland in it and Tim West and really important storylines. I had a lot of guys contact me after the storyline about my son coming out and saying that they came out the next day to their dads because of that. And it's like, fucking hell, man, that's a platform, that's powerful shit. Like, they listen to us more than these fucking cunt politicians that just fucking talk shite to us constantly. I don't want to get political, but it's when they get it right, it's fucking amazing, that show.
Yeah, but I think obviously one of the functions of soaps, because so many people watch them, is that they, you know, can use the storyline to talk about real life issues. And I think this is again where the kind of people's inability to separate you from the characters you play is so handy, because of, you know, things like Mick Carter, like being totally okay with his son coming out, and what people are thinking when they're watching that is, well, if Danny Dyer's all right with it.
Exactly, so whatever that meant.
Thinking,
so again,
really.
fine, whatever it is, whatever I represented, it worked. It was, you know, it's like, okay, so if you can come out to Danny Dyer, whatever that means, then it's okay. So again, the producer's very clever, they've done coming out storylines before and it's all fucking weird and stupid, and, you know, someone comes out and they go and fucking murder someone because they've come out, you know what I mean? It's like, it's all a bit fucking extreme. It's like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Like, and so the simplicity of it is what reached people. And so, you know, that for me was, and I had it recently, that one of my last storylines was a sexual abuse storyline, which was really difficult because they call it a retrofit. So I've been playing this character for fucking 6 years, and then we had COVID, and then it all shut down, and then they rang me up and said, oh, we're going to go back to work. So I went, oh, great, we've got a great storyline for you. I was like, okay, yeah, you were sexually abused when you was 12 by a woman. I was like, for fuck's sake, what? I mean, I don't know how to, they said, we call it a retrofit, so we're going to sort of infiltrate it in. I thought, hold on a minute, this is very important. And it's about young boys being, you know, sort of abused by women and stuff. And again, you know, it was a fucking tough ask, considering you had to be 2 meters away from everybody, you know, at all times. And we was doing this fucking green screen thing where just to be this close, I would fucking sit here and you'd be a tennis ball. Right, and then I'd fuck off and become a tennis ball and the other actor would sit there. And you're trying to do this really heavy fucking shit to a tennis ball. I had a scene once where I was playing fucking Monopoly with 5 fucking tennis balls. And I had a really, this is the truth, I had a really heavy scene when, you know, we wrap up this thing and my abuser gets, you know, I fucking realise I'm a survivor and all that, and I come out and my 2 daughters, and basically I couldn't touch my daughters, so I had 2 fucking wigs on sticks under my arm. And you could just see the top of the wigs like that, and I sort of kiss them on the nut, you know. It's a big moment for Mick, it's huge. And they said, listen, we've got to go again because is there any chance you can sort of move the fucking... I thought, what, am I fucking puppeteer now? I'm trying to... So I was very grateful to be back to work, but it's like tackling that stuff during that time. But I will say, a lot of men contacted me about being abused, you know, by women when they were fucking young, and so it's really fucking important stuff. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I suppose it's you want to do it justice. You know, it's Yeah, it's a shame it had to come to an end, that, you know what I mean? Because I did love it. I got some great memories, and I love the people there dearly, but, you know, I'd fucking had enough, and that's the truth of it. I feel
9
like...
years, it's a long time.
Well, it's a long... I did 1,100 episodes, and I did some amazing stuff, and I think if you're there too long, I think I did the best I could possibly do there. I think I was blessed with some amazing fucking storylines, some shite ones as well, but... I think that's the nature of the beast, and I think that... But I will say this, the people that work there, they fucking work their bollocks off. And to learn 30 pages a day, which is what you do, you know, 150 pages a week, is a whole new fucking discipline, I tell you. And it's retained elite. You know, like if you've got 15 scenes in one day, by the time you get to scene 13, you can't remember the first fucking 3 scenes that you shot. Your brain just can't do it. So it's a whole new discipline, which I needed to draw on all my experience to get through, you know. And I think that young actors coming through that start off in that show and that can deal with it. I mean, I had little Rose in it, you know, the deaf actress, fucking amazing human being, who came into that show. And the other thing about the tennis ball with her was she has to lip read. So the tennis ball was no good, so we had to get a fucking mirror on a stick and sort of aim it towards my face so she could lip read. I thought, how the fuck's this kid going to get through this process? And she was fucking incredible. So good. So anyone young coming through and they start off in EastEnders, it only gets fucking easier than that, I can tell you that now. That's the hardest discipline of them all.
Amazing. Well, I've got one more question that sort of ties to that before we're going to throw out to the audience. But I feel like what EastEnders did is it sort of catapulted you up to like national treasure status. How do you feel about that?
Oh no, that's bollocks. I don't. I
do think it's true.
I think I divide people. I think there are people that do love me and love what I do, and there's other people that just can't fucking understand it. Do you know what I mean? They resent it. Again, it's like, how much do I want to do the death scroll on fucking social media? Just stay away from it. But it does open you up to, you know, a lot of criticism when you're in a soap. It's like, and they're following your character. So if they give you a shitty storyline, they're going to like, sort of go off your character a little bit. So there's a little bit of that. But I think it just opened me up to, it made me more fucking famous, which I didn't need. I'll tell you that now. Do you know what I mean? Because, you know, it's a whole new level of fucking, all of a sudden you're fucking front page news. I got away with murders for fucking years in a sense of, you know, my drinking and my antics and all that bollocks, and all of a sudden I was fucking front page news, and I sort of still am, I suppose, and I wonder if there's any fucking Daily Mail journalists in here. I'm sure there's one fucking knocking about. I'm sure you got some fucking sound bites anyway, so congratulations, that's your fucking mortgage paid this month. But yeah, I am grateful for it, man. It fucking changed my career, definitely, EastEnders, so I'm very honoured to have been a part of that. Well, going back to the comedy side of things, I'm about to start this Sky comedy called Mr. Big Stuff. I was rehearsing today, and I got to learn how to play the fucking spoons. It's fucking so hard. I've got a whole routine. So I want to get into that more. I think doing EastEnders for so long, it's so heavy and it's so dark, and it's great to play it. But that light-hearted stuff, I really want to do that more. I think it's more fun, and it's, you know, it interests me. I've not done enough of it. So I'd love to go down that route a little bit more. It was Ray Winston, was somebody that I watched on TV and thought, oh, he speaks like me. There wasn't really anybody, you know, even like with Minder, like Arthur Daly was sort of Cockney but weren't, and Terry McCann sort of was, but when Ray spoke, so there was that. But I don't think I really had a moment. It was just like what I said at the beginning. I went to school and I hated it, and then I went in a lesson and went, oh, I like this. I quite like showing off, I suppose. I never really thought about it as a career. It was just something I enjoyed to do. And I fucking hated school from the moment I walked in to the moment I left. But there was one lesson I looked forward to. So that was telling me something. Again, never thinking about it as a career. It's like, where the fuck do you start with it all? Do you know what I mean? So there was no real defining moment. I just loved it, and I was intrigued by it. And you can never complete it, can you? You can never, do you know what I mean? You can't learn enough with it. It's like every day I'm fucking still learning about it. And I've just worked with David Tennant. Fuck me, this geezer's a Rolls Royce, this geezer, I'll tell you that now. I mean, fuck me, this geezer's good. I was watching him like, fucking hell, oh, fuck me, I've got to speak. So good. So good. So yeah, it's so much to absorb always. No, it's very important. This is what, and listen, when I fucked up on stage, then Pinter come up to me after he knew I'd been fucking at it, and everyone else was looking at me funny and had the hump with me, but he did come up and put his arm around me. He said, Danny, if ever there's a fucking ensemble piece, this is it. And so, you know, it is about fucking teamwork and looking after each other. And I've worked with a lot of actors that are very cunts, basically. And very selfish. It's all about them, and whatever gets your juices flowing. But I feel you do need to look after your other actors, and it's all about confidence, because when your confidence is gone, you're fucked in this game. I'll tell you that now. You know what I mean? You've got to look after each other. And actors, we you know, some people need a little arm around them. Some people need to be told straight. We're all different. There's different ways of tweaking actors to get different things out of them. Do you know what I mean? So it's very important that, you know, you're only as good as the fucking person in front of you as well. Really. So, you know, mind you, some of them tennis balls were better than some of the actors in there. I'm fucking joking. Fucking hell. Yeah, it's mad having daughters. You know, I am a very sensitive soul, and I'm quite a liberal parent, and I'm not very good at discipline. I'm very much an affectionate man, and I feel that children, their currency is affection, and they just need to know that they're loved. That's not very good at bollocking them, and so my Danny has brought home some fucking twats. I've had some fucking sitting at my table on a Sunday eating my leg of lamb. So, I suffered it. You can't tell your children who to fall in love with. You've got to go with the fucking flow. And then she brought home Jared Bowen. So I earned it. And a real amazing man. So yeah, I you know, all my dreams have come true. He loves it. All I fucking want is just that for a man to fucking, or woman, whatever, worship the fucking ground my daughter walks on. That's all. Try not to, if you fucking can, let one fucking tear drop from her eye. That's all I ask for. Just love her, worship her. I turned down the take. Do you remember this? Fucking... What a disaster. Again, going back to Tom Hardy because he got the fucking part. But I was told, do not do this now. You're going to be pigeonholed as a gangster. And, you know, it's on Channel 5, this new channel. No one's going to watch it. And fucking hell, what a mistake that was. There hasn't been many... This is my problem, mate. I've not said no enough. You know, it's a powerful fucking word now. And it's hard as an actor because, you know, like, sometimes you do have to fucking be strong and say no to stuff, but it's hard, man, because it's like you're never guaranteed anything. It's such a, you know, it's such an insecure career. So, but, you know, there's a lot of no's I should have fucking said. There's no two ways about that. But, yeah, that was the one I remember, the take. I don't know, really. I like I was saying earlier, it's still a lesson to me, this whole thing, and it's like there's a lot of actors that do a lot of good work and they earn good money, but they seem to slip under the radar with the fame side of it. So I don't know whether there's a fucking class you can go to learn about being famous and that stuff, because that stuff's really fucking tricky. And you need to be sure if you want to be an actor, because as much as it's a fucking great job and it's very rewarding, to give away your anonymity is a fucking huge thing to do. And once you've done it, you can't go, oh, do you know what, I don't fancy this anymore. It's not like a fucking tap. And it doesn't just affect you, it affects your family and it affects everyone around you. And, you know, it's a very salacious media we've got at the moment, and they're just waiting for your fucking downfall constantly. That's the cat and mouse thing. They big you up for a bit, but then they can't wait for you to fuck it up. And so you're constantly playing this game all the fucking time, and you've got to live your life like a fucking priest, which...
There's a joke in there somewhere.